Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Heisenplay, and today we are going to be talking about Side Zero again. Um, this might be the last video on Side Zero for a bit, and by a bit I mean like a video or two, since there's a pretty big pause in between videos. I kind of wait for inspiration to come to me on what kind of video I will make. So, I got done watching the English dub version of The Witch from Mercury prologue, and it kind of inspired me to make this video because I wanted to talk about the different kinds of mobile suits in the Side Zero universe, the difference between them, which universe is more powerful, and which, well, in terms of mobile suits, in the Side Zero universe. And why they are as powerful as they are. So, I want to use originally I wanted to use every era of Gundam, whether it be UC, AC, CC, RC, heck, even FC. But I realized that they all wouldn't fit because the timeline of Side Zero was already packed pretty tightly. And while there was a whole world and a whole universe, I couldn't make it all happen on Earth. I had to break things up a little bit. And later mobile suits, such as Build Era mobile suits, such as Build Fighters, Build Divers, FC era mobile suits, like from G Gundam and like the other, because I'm pretty sure G Gundam had like a manga or two, and mobile suits like that, which aren't exactly fighting a war necessarily, would be included in Side Zero the Second. Yes, I have a whole franchise planned. I'm pretty sure I already said that though. So, yeah, I won't include everything in the first installment of Side Zero. But, there will definitely be a lot of content considering the generations of mobile suits and Gundams that I have included, which include and are limited to, or is limited to, UC, AC. Well, I guess I should stop saying the abbreviations and say the proper names. Universal Sentry, After Colony, Reguild Sentry, Cosmic Era, Anno Domini, and Correct Sentry. Yes. Those are the ones I plan on including inside Zero, at least the first installment. Of course, not every suit from the shows will be present because there are some designs I had to omit, simply because they just did not fit with what I had in mind. And there are some designs which I don't have because I just don't know they exist. So if you would like to tell me about some designs, leave some of your favorites in the comments. Excuse me for 1 second, I need to get a drink of water. I have a water pump, by the way. Perfect. Oh. All right. Yeah. So UC, when it comes to power scaling, is at the very top of the list due to the abundance of mobile suits, the quality of said abundance of mobile suits, the species of the people that worked on their creation and raising, because mobile suits have to be raised in the Side Zero universe because they are sentient creatures. In the Side Zero universe, mobile suits are 90 to 95% organic material. Um, uh, yeah, uh, yeah, 9 to 4% mechanical material, and 1 1%, for all intensive purposes and for lack of a better phrase, magic. Um, or just godly creation abilities or whatever. So, yeah. In the Side Zero universe, Gundanium is a mix of, well, the Gundaniums used in the Zeta Era, which include Gundanium Theta, Gundanium Zeta, Gundanium Gamma, Gundanium Beta, and Gundanium AG. Those are all, versions of one another that are meant for different things, different parts, different mobile suits. But they all have one thing in common. They were developed from the Cybertronian metals, Cybertronian metals, not the Michael Bay kind. Transformium does not exist. It is, I'm talking like Transformers Prime or G1. Yeah, the living metal that Cybertronians are for the most part composed of, and the liquid metal that the T-1000s of Terminator are mostly composed of. They are developed from those two. Not a direct mix. Gundanium's still, a moon metal, because I like calling it that, because it's funny. Moon metal. Gundanium is still, mostly strange moon metal made by a humanoid tiger on meth, but the later versions of Gundanium are made from but developed from the two metals I had just mentioned, which are, the T-1000 metal and the the Cybertronian metals. Yeah, I don't know the canon name for the two. I'm pretty sure the T-1000's metals are called polymimetic alloy or polymimetic titanium. So I'm going to go with polymimetic titanium because that sounds cooler. And Transformers Prime Cybertronian metal, I'm just going to go with cyber matter because, Cybertronian, cyber matter. So yes, Gundanium has a little bit from polymimetic titanium and cyber matter. Only a little bit from those two. Well, the later stages of Gundanium, not standard Gundanium and Gundanium Alpha. Gundanium Alpha and standard Gundanium are once again, the brainchild of a furry on meth. Well, not a furry, because furries are different from anthropomorphs, which is what they are called in the Side Zero universe. Fun fact, furries and anthropomorphs have a great level of respect for each other within the Side Zero universe, to the point where a lot of furries consider, to the point where a lot of anthropomorphs consider furries honorary anthropomorphs or just straight up anthropomorphs. So they have a pretty strong bond with one another. And since both get pretty much the same level of hatred for no reason, they've learned to stick with each other in trying times. And because anthropomorphs actually have the abilities of the animals of which they're based on, anthropomorphs have a better time of defending themselves and others than furries do, because most furries are, born human, so don't have any naturally given powers. So yeah, so what makes the UC so powerful? Besides Gundanium, because after the UC, they switched to a material called Agnanium, which was developed from Gundanium AG, which it stood for something. I don't have it written down, but it stood for something. So yeah, Gundanium AG was developed into Agnanium, and Agnanium was used in all subsequent mobile suits, and Agnanium 2 is what was used in all Gundams after the UC, or Universal Century. Yeah, so Universal Century not only had Gundanium, it also had Psychomu, it had Psycho Frame, because those two are different things within the Sub-Zero universe. Haven't read up much on Gundam, but I'm pretty sure Psychomu and Psycho Frame are different things. At least in the Sub-Zero universe. So, yeah, so Psychomu, Psycho Frame, Gundanium, the Zeta Era mobile suits, the species of people behind production, the quality of the Zeta Era suits, which, are the most powerful. Unless I just said that. Am I repeating myself? I am. I'm repeating myself, aren't I? So yeah, the Zeta Era are the most powerful because of, Gundanium and whatnot, all of that, all the stuff I just mentioned. Zeta Era is UC for those who do not know, so it's a smaller condensed era within a larger era, so yeah, if you're confused, I'm kind of there with you. Only kind of though. But yes, so the Zeta Era are the most powerful simply due to the quality, the teams behind the teams behind manufacturing and raising of the mobile suits and their tactics and whatnot. The amount of freedom given to mobile suits within the Sub-Zero universe, and simply just the circumstances of their creation. The stars had simply aligned for the Zeta Era. There wasn't a lot that was there wasn't a lot that was left up that was left to actual action. A lot of things were just by chance, and by chance, the nigh perfect method of mobile suit creation was found, and then as soon as the Zeta Era ended, subsequently lost. So, in the initial phases of the Zeta Era, there were a few different kinds of technologies that stood out, such as the movable frame and the magnet coating. Well, specifically the magnetic coating 6, which, yes, this is the 6th version of the magnetic coating, obviously. So magnetic coating 6, or magnetic coating SX was used on early Zeta Era mobile suits. It was very, 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 very good. And one guy had the crazy idea to combine magnetic coating with movable frame. And, of course, that was a bit later in the Zeta Era. That's, the Barzam, that's his, that's basically why he is able to move so fast. Well, not move so fast, but why his movement, limb, joint actuator speed is so, freakish, even to other mobile suits. So, yeah, so within the Zeta Era, there were a lot of different kinds of mobile suits. high-speed transforming types like the Gabflay, Hazenflay, the Woundwarts. There were there were the clunky mass production types such as the Jim Quells and the Barzams and the Marasais. There were the brutal chimpanzee level brutal brawlers such as the Ashimar, and there were inspiring leaders with near boundless power like the Zeta Gundam and Excess Gundam. But we'll just take it one at a time. So we're going to start with what is essentially the beginning of the Zeta Era, UC Battlefield Record. The G-Line series and whatnot were pretty powerful. Like they weren't something that was really seen before. The technology that was used in their creation was definitely solid stuff, and people were like questioning who made these guys, what's happening, and there was never really an answer because the manufacturer for the G-Line series was never given. Well, their name at least was never given. Although it was confirmed that he is dead. So yes. Then there is then there's Stardust Memory, which GP01, well, the GP series in its entirety, and the GP series were very, very powerful. They were leaps and bounds ahead of the G-Lines, which confused and terrified people even more because mobile suits were getting stronger, smarter, faster, having powers that were even more godlike than the last. And people were extremely afraid. And they were like, well, mostly humans were extremely afraid because they were like, oh my God, this is getting extremely out of hand. Not going to spoil too much, not giving specific times or anything, specific characters and whatnot. I mean, we already know the mobile suits are going to be there, so I can talk about most of the mobile suits all I want. So Side Zero, well, it wasn't side, the Zeta Era had the strongest mobile suits due to the just heavy, almost unbelievable use of movable frame, magnet coating, Psychomu, Psychoframe, Psychomu systems, and all that. Let's go to mobile suits that were great examples of the uses of these technologies. Well, one of the mobile suits you see standing before you right now, the Gabflay, or, well, I guess hovering, floating, whatever, was a ingenious use of the movable frame, magnet coating, and a dash of Psychomu. Like most mobile suits at the time of Zeta Gundam within the Side Zero universe weren't full Psycho Frame, but were definitely more full Psycho Frame than the previous mobile suits. We wouldn't have mobile suits that were just full Psycho Frame completely until Advance of Zeta. So at this point in time, there weren't a lot of new type mobile suits because, new types, when they were detected, they were for the most part, they were murdered as soon as possible because people were afraid of new types. They had all these mind powers and they could read thoughts and levitate stuff and, whatnot. I mean, in the Side Zero universe, they could. they're a bit more akin to Jedi, but a bit different. Like they still have the like ultra empath thing going. They have like like that unrelenting empathy, which other mobile suits hated. Other mobile suits hated that because they felt that new types were on some kind of superiority complex kind of thing because they didn't want to kill people. They're so sympathetic. These guys they just think they're so much better than us just because they don't get their hands dirty with actual work like we do, you know. So old types despised new types because they felt that new types were sissies and were altruistic and trying to be better than people. When in actuality, that's not the case. New types are brave and strong, and while most new type mobile suits are deeply mentally disturbed, they can still hold their own in the fight, and it's because of their immense power that they hold back and do not kill, because they're above that, and they know that every other mobile suit is as well. And that's basically the kind of philosophy behind anti-new typism in in Side Zero, and new type mobile suits weren't all too prevalent. The Zeta Gundam being a new type, but also also surrounded by other old types, kind of rejected his new type nature and became a sort of warmonger, like not as bad as the prototype RX-78-1, but like the RX-78-1 is like an awful dude in the Side Zero universe, but the Zeta Gundam was definitely trying very hard to impress his old type brethren. He tried to drag more innocent mobile suits like his little brother Double Zeta down with him, but Double Zeta was too wholesome for that, actually, did what a new type and a Gundam should do. So, yeah, then there is Advance of Zeta, because in Zeta Gundam, that's pretty much the extent of like powerful like mobile suits and whatnot, and the technology that were used. When it comes to Advance of Zeta, that's when a lot of the cooler stuff was developed, such as the Psycho Frame, such as well, not developed but like implemented more. Psycho Frame, Psychomu systems, magnetic coating, the movable frame, and it's around the creation of the wound ward when all these things were implemented at once. Because usually mobile suits with all these things implemented at once would not only tear themselves apart physically, but all the mental stress, the psychic stress and whatnot would mentally cripple them. So even if they physically survived, there would be nothing but an empty robotic and organic husk. Although all of the organic parts would probably rot away pretty quickly, because mobile suits are kind of like crabs. When you kill them, the insides rot away very fast, and they begin to smell extremely badly. And it doesn't matter if you're upwind or downwind of a mobile suit. If you are within a 40-foot range, you will smell a dead mobile suit. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Yes? sorry for the long pause, ladies and gentlemen. I had to bring in some stuff for my new cat. Yeah, I recently bought a cat with the help of my family. Her name is Grace. She's beautiful, and I love her. And I had also recently ordered a St. Andrew Stein to coincide with the event of this new cat. But it has been delayed once again by Amazon. Yeah, that sucks. It said February 30th to 31st. Well, February 30th to February 1st, then February 4th to February 2nd to February 4th, then, and now it says February 4th to February 6th. So, I'm not gonna get into it. Amazon's also part of the problem when it comes to Gunpla and whatnot. Bandai's cheap and doesn't like to try when it comes to like the technology that goes into Gunpla, but Amazon's part of the problem and allows scalpers to overcharge for things. The high-grade Masala goes for $90. It is an HGUC kit from the early to late 2010s, and it goes for $90. It's a parts former. Not even an entirely color accurate parts former. A parts former that is most likely just a mass of purple plastic. Not even the correct different colors of purple. It's probably a completely new color of purple that they invented just to purposefully get it wrong. Because Bandai just loves to purposefully get stuff wrong. You know how scuffed the Cycle Blade looks on both mobile suits that have a Cycle Blade? You can see for yourself, because there are pictures everywhere, and both Cycle Blades look scuffed. They could not have been bothered to like properly sculpt it. So, anyways, back to the Zeta Era. So, yeah, the Woundwort Gundam is the most powerful mobile suit, bar none. Within the Side Zero universe, the TR6 Woundwort Gundams, because the Woundworts are a species, well, they're a species of Gundams, so I guess they're a subspecies. Yeah, so they are the most powerful, because not only are they full psycho frame, they have a Psychomu system, a full Psychomu system, a movable frame that extends to basically everywhere it possibly could. It has the Woundworts also have amazing generators and engines, and they also have new types of thrusters called the Psycho Thrusters, which it's basically one or more thrusters, like a small amount that are located here and there, but they can produce lift in any direction, no matter where the thruster is facing. Like the thruster doesn't have to move, and there's an option. Like Woundworts can toggle thruster fire and thruster light. So, yeah, it can either produce particles, it can do fire, do light. They can make it anything that they want to, because Woundworts can kind of just customize that themselves that way. Yeah, Woundworts are a little bit broken within the Side Zero universe. I'm trying to make them less broken and more overpowered in a way that kind of follows some sort of rule set. So that'll probably be ironed out for the most part once Side Zero becomes a show. So, yes, the TR6 Woundwort Gundam, or Gundams, because they are indeed a species of mobile suit, a species of Gundam to be particular. Um, uh, so the rules for like a species of mobile suit or Gundam is, the rules are, um, there has to be like at the least four different kinds of variants that each serve some kind of different purpose, no matter how no matter how questionable that purpose might serve. Like if it's just the exact same mobile suit, but with uh, but with an extra mono eye like on the knuckle, and it's reconnaissance, then that counts. It has to have at least four variants. Those variants have to be at least slightly distinct, and there has to be more than one produced of each variant. So that would mean that the Destiny Gundam, not the Destiny Gundams, the Impulse Gundams count as a species of Gundam. The Woundwarts, the Hazels, the original Gundams, they're all species. They're all different species of Gundams. So they all count as a as a little as their own little subspecies of Gundam. So yeah, the Woundwarts have all of this stuff. You know, the Psycho Thrusters. They have this. They have what is called what is called the Psychomu creation ability. You see, unlike in the normal Gundam universe, where the red fingertips are just little scanning things for like collecting data and whatnot, the red fingertips of the TR mobile suits within the Side Zero universe are actually for creating things. They actually have little nozzles inside of them that have this thing called TR fluid, and it is superheated, and once it's dispensed, it can basically create anything that the Woundwort can conjure up. Well, it can do mind commands, and it can also do voice commands, because the mind can often be unreliable in conjuring up a foolproof solid image that is not subject to change. Because I feel like with that kind of ability, my mind would be like race car, jacket, peg leg, sword, and it would just either be a mix of all of those, or it would just constantly change, and I would end up with a weird mess of just stuff. So Woundwarts with these can create fully functional vehicles, weapons, food, all of it. They have incredibly advanced technology, but they don't exactly use the TR nails too often. That's what I call them, TR nails. They don't exactly use them too often because the Woundwarts don't want to be reliant on the TR nails. So they want to actually make stuff with their hands and whatnot. Well, you know what I mean, because technically both are kind of mean the same thing. So they want to actually make stuff using the tools and technology that are around them instead of the stuff that comes from their hands. And Woundwarts are actually extremely human-looking in the Side Zero universe. Every mobile suit in the Side Zero universe has like an optional humanoid form. But with the Woundwarts, they are born in this humanoid form, and that is just the natural form that they take. They can take a form that is more robotic, but still has very organic features. But that form is very painful to maintain after like an hour or two, depending on the Woundwort. So, and as for the actual like canonical design of the Woundwarts within actual Advanced Zeta lore, the actual like Woundwort Gundam, this is their battle armor. So the normal Woundwort peg legs are like still present. They have basically normal Woundwort legs from the knees down, just to kind of like signify what mobile suit they are. This is the case for like every mobile suit that has a humanoid form within Side Zero. The like from the knees down, they have the leg of whatever mobile suit that they might be based on. Simply for the sake of identifying them, if the design I make for them isn't, identifiable enough. So, yeah, wound warts. Wound warts within the Side Zero universe look a lot like humans, but at the same time, they have a lot of things visually that sets them apart. Behavior-wise, they are a completely different thing from humans. I will go into like their behaviors and whatnot, what wound warts actually are supposed to look like, a little bit later. That'll like be saved for like once Side Zero is a bit more. Once things just later in on my channel. So wound warts are the strongest. They are incredibly durable. In fact, their skeletal structure is indestructible. The only way you can kill a wound wart is either by stabbing them in their neck or puncturing their neck in some way and having them bleed out, or destroying their head, both of which are extremely hard, since when in combat, a wound wart, they don't hunch necessarily, but they do kind of lift their shoulders and lower their head. And they kind of go into like a wrestling kind of grabbing stance-esque kind of form. At least most wound warts do. So, so the neck is pretty hard to get at, and the head, since, is protected by the skull, well, all the important stuff inside is protected by the skull. It's going to be pretty hard to do that. So wound warts are very hard to kill if you do not have a beam saber or a heat saber of any kind. Because with a heat weapon, you would easily be able to cut off the head, but actually damage the skull would be a different story. The only way you'd be able to do that is with a beam weapon or an anti-TR round, which every anti-TR round was stolen by TRs, so they don't manufacture them anymore, and the ones that are still in existence are in TR custody and will most likely be destroyed. So with that, there is almost no way to kill a wound wart if you're not another wound wart or another TR or maybe a Rezeon suit, or what I like to call Advance of Zeta. Well, part of the Advance of Zeta. Well, that was probably one of the most dumbest sentences. That was probably one of the most dumbest sentences I have ever said. Well, there goes a close second. Basically, the Advance of Zeta the Advance of Zeta, not just Advance of Zeta, the Advance of Zeta, is a class of mobile suits that have been upgraded by the TRs, whether it be wound warts, hazels, Ryrus, Rosettes, any kind of TR mobile suit, to be able to compete with and fight alongside TR mobile suits. So that would include the Advance of Zeta Barzams, the Rebin Wolves, the Fenris Wolf, the Stutzer Squad, the Nemo Cannon. Although the Nemo Cannon is called in Side Zero universe it's called the Advanced Nemo or the Nemo Stutzer, because that is not exactly canon, not exactly what I'd call a Nemo cannon, So he's a Stutzer. Yeah, so the Stutzer Squad, um, the Stutzer Squad, uh, hmm, yeah, any mobile suit that has a Rezion color scheme, White Rabbit color scheme, or Titan's test team color scheme can be considered, well, not can be considered, but is an advance of the Zeta mobile suit. Advance of Zeta, kind of meaning advance of the Zeta Era, or advanced Zeta Era mobile suit. Doesn't exactly stand for, well, it's not an acronym, so it doesn't stand for that, but like that's what it's supposed to mean. Yeah, so um this video's a mess. I had a plan originally, but it kind of fell apart, and I tried to record this video previously, and my iPad just stopped recording, and any thought that I previously had went out the window. I should redo this video and write down a bit of a script. Not exactly a script, because it would, I sound weird when I read from scripts and whatnot. I either speak and run on sentences, or end up pronouncing things wrong. Well, not pronounce, enunciate things wrong. Yeah, I don't really tend to do well when reading from a script. Like, you'll see when I eventually have to read out the entire Side Zero timeline to you, because I have it written down, and I plan on reading it not very soon, but in a year or two. I plan on reading it to you all as part of getting Side Zero ready for action. Of course, there are some twists that I would like to keep hidden, and because I feel like a lot of people probably won't see this channel until it blows up, which will probably be after there have been a ton of videos to bury this one. A lot of people probably won't know that I intend to put any kind of Advance of Zeta mobile suits in the series, because I intend to lead. Yeah, I'm gonna use lead. I intend to lead with other mobile suits. Unicorn Era, which is kind of Zeta Era. It's basically the transition from the Zeta Era to the Sinri Era. Yeah, Woundwarts are the most powerful. That includes the Woundwort, the Hazel 2, Kiar 2, Hazenflay, all of the TR6s. Any mobile suit that is designated as a TR6 is part of the most powerful mobile suits inside Zero. Yeah. Also, spoiler: when I give a mobile suit an award for something, like for example, if I were to give the Sinanju the award for fastest mobile suit, you could always assume that I mean fastest non-Woundwardian, because I can't just say non-Woundwardian every time, because I would just sound like a broken record at that point. So if I were to say the Sinanju is the fastest mobile suit, I mean fastest mobile suit that isn't the Woundwort Ra, or the Hazenflay 2 Ra, or the Inlay. The Inlay's a mobile armor, so yeah. Yeah, so Woundwarts, that's the Woundwarts. So I guess we can move on to Sentinel, where all of this stuff starts to drop off a bit, because Advance of Zeta was the peak. Sentinel's where it starts to drop off a bit. The Excess Gundam, the the entirety of Task Force Alpha, the new decides. There is no real psycho frame use. There are quasi psychomu systems. The movable frame and the magnet coating are still used in conjunction with one another. And the psycho thrusters are basically not TR, wound wart exclusive technology. So yeah, the wound warts have the most advanced technology. So yeah. Um, so the mobile suits of Sentinel are a lot more are a lot, well, not a lot weaker, but a lot less powerful than the mobile suits of Advanced Zeta. Even though I'm pretty sure, even though I'm pretty sure in the Gundam universe, the XS Gundam could dog wash the Hazel in any condition, because the XS Gundam is, quite literally one of the few sentient Gundams. It's quite literally piloted by an AI that eventually learns to take control of the mobile suit. So the XS Gundam off bat alone is extremely powerful. So yeah, combined with that extreme advanced learning ability, and just the sheer speed of the XS Gundam, combined with the fact that the Hazel within the Gundam universe was technically made before Zeta Gundam even started, the XS Gundam would probably beat the crap out of the Hazel. Although I guess it depends on which variant we're talking about. But anyways, back to Side Zero. The XS Gundam, after transforming from the XS Gundam from the S Gundam to the XS Gundam, pretty big incel. Not gonna lie, pretty big incel. No real proper mother figure, because within the Side Zero universe, mobile suits need to be raised by an official certified G mother, standing for Gundam mother. But basically, a G mother is a mobile suit scientist. That is, those are the people who actually make the mobile suits. Yeah, they are the mobile suit scientist that is certified to raise and take care of mobile suits, and it is specific. It is specifically needed. A woman is specifically needed due to the fact that women have what is mostly called the G mother gene, also known as being really nice and knowing how to raise a creature, which is very rare now. Because, okay, now I'm starting to sound like an insult, because I'm starting to say that every woman is mean. That's not what I'm trying to say. I mean, in the Side Zero universe, at least in the latter halves, when we get to like the late 2010s to early 2020s, that starts to be the case, because events. That is not the case in early Side Zero. In early Side Zero, the women are good. This sounds really mean. I'm not trying to say anything. Like, yes, Side Zero has a lot of my thoughts in it, but I don't think that every woman is mean. I don't think that back in the old days, women were good people. Nowadays, they mean. That's not what I'm trying to say, because I don't think that. What I'm trying to say is due to a lot of events and whatnot, in like the late 2010s to early 2020s, there was a massive drop off in kindness and just the G mother gene, nurturing nature, and whatnot, and mostly in human women. Lodians, Leos, mobile suits were fine. wound warts, of course, were golden because oh wait, yeah, I can't spoil that yet. Um, yeah, so yeah, so yeah, G mothers. G mothers took care of mobile suits, raised them, tried to teach them everything that they knew about combat. There weren't really many G fathers because most guys well, at least most human guys at the time did not like mobile suits for one reason or another. Really didn't like them. Yeah, so G mothers were were really good at raising mobile suits, but during the advance of Zeta Era and the Sentinel Era, there was a slight decline in the quality of G mother care. Um, so 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 a lot of a lot of mobile, especially male mobile suits, did not get proper mother figures, and as a result, would grow to have very incel-esque behavior due to the lack of a proper mother figure, or any or any kind of proper authoritative but nurturing female figure in their life that showed any kind of actual strength, courage, or kindness. So, that was a thing. And Excess Gundam, his G mother, a woman named Alice, was especially cruel, very manipulative, constantly gaslighting him, all that stuff. The story of Gundam Sentinel in Side Zero World, in the Side Zero universe, is a very tragic love story between the Excess Gundam, and the Gundam Mark V. But I can't go too in depth with it right now. You know what? This video is a mess, but I'm gonna upload it anyways because I feel like I should try to upload something at least twice a month. So I'm gonna see how I do with that. And I'll upload a proper video, and I'll try to upload a proper video sometime before the end of February. And hopefully when March rolls around, I'll hit you guys with a birthday video of some sort, because March is my birthday month. So yeah. So I guess I won't exactly finish the Zeta Era due to the fact that this is very improper. This needs a bit more refinement. The script of the video itself and a little bit of the Zeta Era nature itself needs to be refined before I can really talk about it. So until then, this is what is going to be currently uploaded. The thumbnail will represent the quality of the video. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Heisenflay. Stay safe, love each other, be nice to each other in the comments, anywhere you go. Believe in the sign of the Zeta. Goodbye.